special Friday. My goodness, is this a good Friday? Number one, we thank our friends from Big Chief Tire Company, always our sponsor on a Friday. They do a fantastic job. And so thank you to them. With 5 locations on the First Coast, our friends at Big Chief, about as good as it gets. Tires, automotive service, the brakes, the alignment, and oil changes. They do it all. Our friends from Big Chief Tire Company, 5 locations on the First Coast. And by the way, is this any good?
Oh,
we're at a party. If you don't like parties, here, let me just make it easy for you. If you don't like parties, don't come.
Yeah.
Okay, stay home. If you don't like parties, stay home, because this is a party, and we're having a big party here today.
Whoa.
It's String Sports. Big Dez, by the way.
Dez looking for that German suplex.
And fortunately, he put him down softly. He didn't drop him. So we're watching Florida Tulane in the Gasparilla Bowl. If you and I do want to remind you, if you want to hear the game, it's on our AM, 10:10 a.m. If you want to hear our program, it's on the FM. We'll update you on the game, by the way. Florida leads Tulane 3-0, 4:30 to play in the first. And Tulane out of 3rd and 1 didn't make it. So they will go for it. 4th down and 1 now for Tulane from about the Florida 47-yard line. So they're going for it, and we'll continue to update you on whatever winds up happening in this ball game throughout the course of the day today. So we'll update you here. Florida Tulane, they didn't make the first down. They had 4th and a yard. They made about a yard there. So Florida Tulane in the Gasparilla Bowl. We're live here, all kind of fun stuff. Come out and say hello. It's String Sports Brewery. We do want to thank our friends again from Karis Wealth, who do such a fantastic job here.
What a great group they have.
And they're right here in front of us. So come say hello to Brad and his crew. So they're right here in front of us. And String Sports Brewery here. It's at Penman Road at the beach. If you're wondering if anybody knows how to get here, they found it.
The word is out.
The word is out. People have found it because we are packed in here, and we'd love to have you come and hang out with us. I mean, it is absolute. You've been to that magnificent Strings downtown. This is the second location, and it is absolutely fantastic. Now, if you want to come by, if you want a free beer or a donated beer, I guess it's not free because you're donating. But we've set up a table here at Walk Off Charities. Kennedy's over here taking donations. Any donation you make, you get a free beer. It's just like that.
You even get a sticker.
You get a sticker that gets you the beer. A baseball sticker gets you the beer. But come on and say hello. It's packed in here, but we'd love to have you say hello. And again, anybody that comes by and walks over here and makes any kind of, it can be a $1 donation, it can be a $5, it can be whatever you want it. Anybody that donates comes in here now between now and 6 o'clock and makes the donation to Walk Off Charities. Anybody that does it winds up walking away with a free beer, and we sure appreciate it. We've had
There's one right now.
We've had so many people come over, and they're kind enough to do it, and we really do appreciate them coming by. And you get a free beer, compliments of Strings and Karis Well. So come on by and do that. And some of our, and again, we're set up right next to where we are, so it's a wonderful setup. So it's a fun day. It really is a fun day. Look, it's the holidays. May or may not be getaway day for me, Carlyon, too.
That's right.
We got a little vacay next week. It's been a long year, so I'm going to try and get away for a little bit. So, but it is packed up here. Brad Ernst brought the family in here.
Yeah, that's
Brad
awesome.
from Karis Wealth, he's got the family in here. So come on by and say hello. We'd love to have you do so. So we'll talk all about the game. We'll talk about Jags Raiders in a bit. You'll hear from Doug Peterson in just a second. But before you do, any early impressions?
A little sloppy, I would say. Little sloppy. Florida got one first down before a punt on their opening drive. Then Tulane tried a flea flicker, threw an interception off of that. Again, Tulane doesn't have its regular starting quarterback, so they're going with a backup. Their regular starter has already entered the portal and gone on to his other school. So, and Florida got a field goal out of that. I'd say a missed opportunity. Lagaway took a sack that really kind of killed the momentum there. And now Tulane's got a drive going. So we'll see. Florida's down some significant pieces in the trenches, Frank.
Yeah, the fact that Brenton Crenshaw-Dixon, the right tackle, didn't play, just a mysterious injury. In fairness to him, he's a fifth-year senior. You got to wonder if that's an opt-out. Do you really want to practice for 2 weeks or however long it was and then risk injury? So I'm going to guess, and I don't know, but I'm going to guess that they haven't had many opt-outs. Wouldn't you guess that might be what that is?
I would guess, because there was no word of that he was sort of battling something. On the defensive front, we knew about Cam Jackson. Napier made that pretty apparent that he was really fighting to play, but pretty banged up. So not having Cam Jackson in a defensive tackle, that's not a surprise. But a couple guys that are electing to come back to school aren't playing. Damian George, the right guard, Caleb Banks, the talented defensive tackle. So Florida's going to have to deal with some attrition along both lines today if they're going to be able to get this win.
Yeah, and that's right. Listen, Tulane had a good season. They were 8-2 at one point. They lost their last game to Memphis, and then they got rolled by Army in the bowl game. But they got a good team. It's a bowl game. When you play in a bowl game, you're playing a pretty good team, and they've got a pretty good team.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Tulane has an injury here to a offensive lineman that looks fairly significant. They're having to cart him off the field. So, we'll see about what that does for Tulane. That's obviously very difficult to see right out of the gate in a bowl game.
Yeah. But we'll keep you track on that. Jags and Raiders coming up in a bit. We're going to hear from Doug Peterson in a minute. Your expectations for the game, how they'll play. Obviously, it's an important game for young players playing for the first time. What do you expect to see with the Jags and the Raiders play?
I think good energy for the Jaguars. I would like to expect that. And the Raiders got a little bit of a boost today because it looks like Aiden O'Connell is going to be able to play, who is light years ahead of Desmond Ridder. So that makes it more of a challenge. But the Jaguars are, look, neither one of these teams is very good. The Jaguars are far more talented than what the Raiders have. The Raiders are down Max Crosby. They traded Devontae Adams before the deadline. Gardner Minshew was going to be their starting quarterback. He's lost for the year. The Raiders really don't have, other than Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers is an underrated receiver, but the Raiders really don't have a lot of top-flight talent, whereas I still think the Jaguars have, some of that. Josh Hines-Allen, Trayvon Walker, Tyson Campbell, Brian Thomas Jr., Etienne, Bigsby. You still have a good collection. Brenton Strange is playing very well. So I have confidence the Jaguars should win. But, at this stage, who knows? You're making a trip right before Christmas. It'll all come down to the energy level and their want to.
Doug Peterson takes the team on the road. Two more road games, one more home game, 3 more games coming up. Doug joins me always on a Friday to talk about the Jags' upcoming game.
The coach speaks. Jaguars coach Doug Peterson joins Frank Frangie right now. Presented by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
All right, it is time now to talk Jaguars football. Doug Peterson, the coach, joined us as always on Friday. Doug, Merry Christmas, man. How are you?
Hey, Merry Christmas, Frank. I'm doing great. How about you?
I am doing great, and I'm looking forward to this trip. We head to the West tomorrow, obviously, for a Sunday game against the Raiders. A lot of things to get to. I ask you about this every week, but I'm gonna start again with it because it's all the buzz. I thought Brian Thomas would be good. Okay, I thought he'd be good. I watched a lot of college football, do a lot of college. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea this good. Honest to God, I had no idea this good. When you draft a guy, obviously you have high expectations. Did you think he'd be this good, Doug? This good?
I would love to have a crystal ball and say yes.
Yeah.
Especially for a young player, a rookie player. Look, we drafted him because there's always the potential, right? There's a potential of being a great player, being really good early. But sometimes you just don't know, right? And until you get him on the field and you start playing these games, and I'll tell you what, he has been everything that we thought he was, what we hoped for. Going to be a really good. I'll say this is a great receiver in this league, and is going to be. I think he's going to be an elite receiver. In the NFL for a long time.
Yeah, boy, he really, and I agree on all counts, man. It's going to be fun to watch him. Other young guys are playing. Brenton Strange certainly played well last week, didn't he? 11 catches, and he's getting his young guys get an opportunity when veteran guys are down. Obviously,
that's right.
But he played
that's
really.
Right.
He's playing well, isn't he?
He is doing extremely well. He's playing good along the line of scrimmage in the run game. And he's better in the pass game than I think most people give him credit for. He's a really good route runner. He's got strong hands. He's great with the ball in his hands, and just a really good young tight end. His only issue is he's in the shadow of Evan Ingram, right? And now he's out from under that, and he put together a great performance last week, and really excited about his future, obviously here in Jacksonville.
Doug, what kind of the energy you see in the locker room when new young guys get to play? Because look, they're all professionals, but the backups know they're backups until they're not. Monteric Brown's playing some. I know you want Trey Prince to play some this week. We just talked about obviously Parker and Brenton. Is there a different kind of energy when these young guys are kind of getting to go do it now?
You know what? There is. I think there's an excitement. There's an enthusiasm. that number one, that they bring, and also the young youth sort of movement within your roster. And that's something that's exciting, I think, for the team. It sort of energizes the team a little bit when the young players play well. And look, I mean, I think the league is obviously getting younger, and guys are having to play sooner and play more as rookies. And I'm just excited about our young players and the development and the growth and the potential that they have.
Doug, how did Mac play? He looked like he was, I don't know if authoritative is the word or in a rhythm, but he looked comfortable from the outset last week, I thought.
He threw the ball with assertiveness. He made good decisions, quick decisions. Ball was out of his hand. And that was really good to see by Mac, and I think that's just a product of him understanding the offense a little bit better, getting more comfortable under center, more, and just, again, when we put these game plans together, he has a lot of say. He has a lot of input, and just like Trevor does. And, we want to make sure that the quarterback, whoever it is, feels really comfortable, when they head into the game, so that there's no doubt in their mind.
You made a comment, and I thought it was a cool comment about young guys have to play. We just talked about Trey Prince and Monteric playing. Antonio Johnson's had a bust here or there, but I think you said he needs to keep playing. There's something there with him, and part of it is defensive guy or young guys playing through the mistakes, right? Isn't that kind of part of the deal here?
And that's part of the I think part of the maturation and the growing up in this league is, we understand that we want our young players to play, but we also know that there's going to be a mistake or two made, and we have to do as coaches our part to try to minimize the mistakes. We got to get the player to understand exactly what we ask them to do, and then the player just has to go play. I don't want to bog his mind down, and the next thing you know, he's handcuffed because he's thinking about too many things. I just want these young players to go out, play free, play loose, but at the same time, the onus is on them to play good and play good football.
Final thing, what do you see when you watch the Raiders on tape? It's been a tough year for Antonio Pierce. He's had a bunch of quarterbacks. Minshew's out. He's played the other two. What do you see when you look at the Raiders?
On defense, I see an aggressive style of defense. This is a pressure defense. They're going to mix personnel. They're going to mix fronts. They're going to mix coverage, it's a product of Antonio Pierce. These guys play hard. They play fast, and this is a physical group. And then on offense, I think Aiden O'Connell should play this week. He's somebody that has improved all season. Jacoby Myers is a top receiver. Obviously, Brock Bowers is going to be a heck of a tight end in this league. Already is. And so it's a dangerous football team from the standpoint of they play with a lot of energy and they play with a lot of excitement, and they play with the personality of their head coach, and that's a credit to Coach Pierce for what he's done. And they got a couple good returners, Abdullah, Dylan Lobby. I mean, these guys are dynamic returners. So this is a good football team. They're probably much like us, just not creating or getting the takeaways and maybe turning the ball over a little bit too much, making those mental mistakes. But it's a good young football team that a couple pieces away from being a really, really good football team.
Yeah, and it's going to be a lot of fun on Sunday afternoon. Jags and Raiders on the road in Vegas coming up on Sunday afternoon. Doug Peterson, the coach, checking in. Doug, we appreciate it, man. I'll see you on the plane tomorrow. Thanks, buddy.
Okay, Frank. Thank you so much. We'll see you then.
All right, back with more from Strings after this. Stay with us.
He's a true American underdog.
I fought for my spot, and I know what it takes to make a championship run. I'm Tom McManus. Join me for stories and insight on Jaguars Today.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson Windows and Doors. Fridays on 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Rev up your life with luxury at Vaughn Motor Group on San Jose Boulevard. Right now, used car prices are 12% lower than their peak in April of 2022, making this the perfect time to drive home in a dream car. Specializing in luxury used vehicles, offering you elegance at prices that are finally coming back down to earth. See special listings in the newspaper every Saturday or online at vaughnmotorgroup.com for a complete inventory listing. If you can dream it, you can drive it at Vaughn Motor Group.
This is Josh Woolsey with Woolsey Morecambe. Woolsey Morecambe is your MVP in the legal game. Our team of skilled attorneys tackle personal injury cases with compassion and expertise. With fumbles like a car or truck accident, we're here to seek the compensation you deserve. Right here in Jacksonville, we've successfully won over $100 million and earned a championship-worthy record. When it's game time, you want a team that plays to win. Contact Woolsey Morecambe at 1-800-WOOLSEY. Offices, Jacksonville.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island is excited to announce an all-new happy hour, 7 days a week. You heard right. Every day from 3 until 6 p.m. and again from 9 until close. Barley and Pie has deals you can't resist. 2-for-1 clay lights, 2-for-1 house wines, and much more. Experience the all-new happy hour at Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island.
Get ready to celebrate December with Best Bet. We're giving away an incredible $660,000 in cash and prizes. Kickstart your holiday fun in Jacksonville with amazing promotions like the 12 Days of Christmas High Hands and $500 High Hand Fridays. At Best Bet Orange Park and St. Augustine, don't miss out on thrilling tournaments and $300 every 15 minutes table game giveaways. For all the details, head over to bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Now, the Florida State Seminole Report, brought to you by your local Ag Pro, your home team.
Florida State quarterback DJ Uiagalelei declared for the NFL draft on Monday, ending a college career that took him to 3 different schools. DJ U finishes his college career with 9,384 yards passing, with 61 touchdown passes and 30 interceptions, adding 1,124 yards rushing and 21 touchdowns on the ground. I'm RJ Saunders with your Ag Pro Seminole Report.
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser share the huddle with Freddie T. Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein and Robbins and Monahan Jewelers.
Fred Taylor, he's a candidate to go the distance.
On 1010 XL.
Hey, Jaguars fans, as the official whiskey of the NFL, it's not a kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why we've built the Crown Royal Rig. An absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more, and please drink responsibly.
There's still time to grab a mouth-watering holiday roast at Southern Steer Butcher in Ortega. Come for the roast and leave a hero with last-minute gift cards for the whole fam.
For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
Where is the largest cave in the world? The answer coming up.
Southern Oak Insurance knows that you want to save money on your homeowner's insurance. So why not try some old-fashioned common sense? Ask your Southern Oak agent about our roof replacement schedule. It will save you money.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
The largest cave in the world is located in Vietnam. It's called San Dun and has its own river and forest.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie for Ricketts Electric. Now, any good lineup needs power. When I needed a power connection for our new walk-off Charities baseball park, I found the perfect partner in Ricketts Electric.
You're going to love these guys, I'm telling you. The Ricketts family has been providing commercial and residential electric service for years. So call my buddy Zach Ricketts today at 904-320-5960, and you can find them on Facebook as well. You will trust them. That's Ricketts Electric, the city's best power connection. Call them today at 320-5960.
Make a resolution this new year to send all of your friends or family a Kuhn Flowers floral arrangement. Or how about just sending one person you love a floral arrangement? Kuhn Flowers can handle it all.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
All right, welcome back to the Frangie Show. We are live here at Strings on Penman. Come watch the Gators play Tulane with us. We are enjoying an early 3-0 lead for the Gators. We're here thanks to Karis Wealth Planning. Appreciate their crew. And we are pleased to be joined with our good friend Rafael Esparza from MyBookie. He is our odds analyst and is going to tell us where we need to be placing our money this weekend and tonight. Rafael, how you doing?
I am doing well. How about yourself?
Doing great, doing great. Let's start with this Florida-Tulane game because we talk about live betting. Florida's got a 3-0 lead. I saw about, a 10.5-point favorite maybe at kickoff. Would you touch this game right now based on sort of a sloppy start for the Gators?
It's a sloppy start for both. I think Tulane needs to try to see if there's a kid that can kick field goals in the stands maybe. But this number is bet as high as up to 14, and then the Wise Guys action came in all on Tulane for the past, I would say, 36 hours. That's why the number completely dropped. Right now, live betting is Florida around 7.5.
Okay, yeah, and you're right. Tulane just missed a chip shot a few minutes ago before we got on the phone. Let's talk. Obviously, we got some huge college football games with the first ever college football playoff. Let's start with tonight's game. Indiana going to Notre Dame as a 7-point favorite is what I'm seeing. Any thoughts right now on should we bet it now? Should we wait till closer to kick to see if it goes to 6.5, 7.5?
There was 6.5 earlier today. Now we're seeing more 7s pop back up. I think we might see some more 6.5 pop up again. Indiana action's been coming through the window the last couple of days. I think Rudolph might be at the game because I hear it could be very snow flurries. Maybe not be able to see this game, but the under is drastically moving down. This total will probably go down to 49, 48. Right now it's 50.
So you would like the under now? Go ahead and bet it because of the conditions, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people took the over at 52 and 51, so they can't really adjust the total too much because then they'll have the middle spot that's open where you can win both sides bets. But I say bet the under now if it's going to continue to snow.
Nice. And what about give us a thought on SMU going to Penn State? It looks like SMU is about a 9-point dog.
I like the dog in this one. I think SMU covers. I think Penn State wins this one. And I have a good stat for you. Limit single-digit dogs in bowl games. The last 101 bowl games of single-digit dogs, 47 have covered. Out of those 47, 37 have won outright. This one smells to me that maybe SMU can maybe pull off the upset. I'm going to take the plus points.
Yeah, I love that. There wouldn't be any heat on James Franklin if he loses that game, would there?
He's probably not as hot as the next game we're going to talk about, than a guy named Day, so there may both be hot seats.
Yeah, very good, very good. Let's go to Columbus. Ryan Day's Buckeyes, a 7-point favorite. I probably am an SEC snob here, Rafael. I can sort of admit that, but I love Tennessee. I think they'll just win the game outright. But how do you see this one?
Mr. Day is probably on an island of misfit toys with Rudolph and the Red-Nosed Rangers TV show, but I think he comes out and wins this game. But I don't think he does it. I think we're going to hear a lot of Chip Kelly is the reason why I think Ohio State wins this game. I can see their offense doing something totally different tonight. I'm going opposite of you. I like the Buckeyes.
Okay, very good. And then give us a thought on Clemson going to Texas, the biggest spread of these first-round matchups. It looks like Clemson getting 12.5 points in Austin.
I just don't understand what the oddsmakers thought about when they watched Texas a couple weeks ago when they played Georgia. Why would you put them a double-digit favorite? And then why would the bettors move this number 2 points to 13? I like Clemson plus the points. I think Texas wins. I really like the under in this game.
Yeah, I like that too because, like, Clemson's, they're used to this kind of environment. I mean, that's a program they're going to go in there expecting to win. So I agree with you. Texas may win the game, but I think it'll be much closer than the spread. Let's anything else in the college realm, bowl game wise, or anything that's caught your eye that we didn't get to in regards to the Gators or the playoff?
I would say a bowl game that I'm interested in is coming out of somewhere close to your backyard, and not because I like to eat Pop-Tarts, but Pop-Tarts Bowl, I like the U, Miami of Florida. You can get them at 3 right now. 3.5 are popping. I can guarantee there'll be like 4 or 5 by kickoff. I think they take care of Iowa State, which I don't think Iowa State wants to play this game because they had Big 12 aspirations where the rug got slipped under them. I like the U in this game.
That is great. That's music to J.J. LaSelva's ears. Let's get it to the NFL. There's 6 games that I'm curious to get your thoughts on. We'll close with the Jaguars, but let's start in the AFC South. Houston going to Kansas City. This one obviously changed a lot this week because of the Mahomes injury, so you can certainly enlighten us about that. Houston opened as a favorite, but now a 3-point underdog at Arrowhead. How would you play this game if you had to?
I like Kansas City in the spot. I mean, I thought Patrick Mahomes was going to play no matter what. He had the same kind of ankle sprain a couple of years ago, and he won a Super Bowl. So you don't think he was going to win this one? They're still fighting for the number 1 spot. I think KC is a play right here. I wouldn't play it if it moves to 4 or anything higher. If you can get 3, even 3.5, I would say take a nab at KC. But if it goes past 4, I would pass on the Chiefs.
Absolutely. Rafael Esparza from MyBookie joining us to give us his thoughts on where we need to be placing our money this weekend. Let's get it to the AFC North. Pittsburgh goes to Baltimore. The Steelers have really had the Ravens number, but they're getting 6.5 here. Now, they don't have George Pickens, but how do you see this one? I think that's a lot of points to have to give the Steelers.
I agree, and a sportsbook in Las Vegas, Circa, just moved it to 7 about 15 minutes ago. I like Pittsburgh on this one. Give me the plus points. I think Baltimore can win this one, but I can see Baltimore winning by like 5 points or less. I'm taking the plus point.
Yeah, I like that Steelers defense to frustrate Baltimore a little bit. Staying in Pennsylvania with the Eagles, they go to Washington, a big-time matchup in the NFC East. The Eagles, who looked very impressive against the Steelers last week, they're giving 3.5 points on the road to the Commanders. How do you see this one?
I like the Eagles because of their defense, not because of everyone wants to talk about wide receivers not getting the ball and their quarterback. That defense is the best defense in the NFL. They win on the D side. I like the Eagles.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm curious about this Tennessee at Indianapolis matchup. It looks like Mason Rudolph will start for the Titans, who probably gives them a little bit more stability and maybe not as much playmaking, but not as much self-destruction as Will Levis. Going to Indianapolis, it seems like Anthony Richardson was starting to find himself. Then they had the disappointing loss against Denver. How do you see this one with the Colts, a 3.5-point home favorite?
This will be probably like 4.5 by kickoff, and I think the Indianapolis Colts are not going to let Rudolph play in any reindeer games on Sunday. I think the Colts win big on this one. I like the Colts. I'm a little bit shocked that they opened it so low. Indianapolis is still fighting for a spot, and Tennessee is still fighting for just vacation spots.
How good do you think Richardson is?
Yeah, I didn't think he was good at Florida. No offense if you're any Gator fans.
I didn't either.
I thought he was a little bit overrated and the hype that came into the draft.
Yeah, I agree. 2 more for you, and then I'll be curious to see if there's another one that I didn't mention that you really like for our listeners. Let's start Minnesota at Seattle. The Vikings, it looks like a 3-point road favorite. It's a tough environment, but boy, that Sam Darnold and those receivers are certainly playing at a high level. Where would you place your money on this one if you had to?
I like the Vikings on the road because Geno Smith is playing, but one of his wheels is broken. He had a knee injury. He said he's going to play. That means they're going to probably have to rely on the run game, and I think Minnesota's run defense is outstanding. I like the Vikings to steal this road game.
Okay, and then one more for me. The Jaguars going to Las Vegas. This one's kind of flip-flopped back and forth. Maybe the news that Aiden O'Connell looks like he'll be active for the Raiders helps at quarterback. I've got the Jaguars as a 1.5-point underdog. Obviously, it's always tough to gauge the energy level with two teams that are basically just playing out the string. But if you had to bet this one, where would you place your money?
I would probably look at the road team, the Jacksonville Jaguars, because the Raiders are a complete mess. Even though they hung around against the Falcons on Monday night, but they're playing on short rest since they played on Monday night. I would see if you can get a +2. I think money's going to come in on the Raiders. If you can get a +2 or more, I would take the Jags.
All right, love it. Anything else in the NFL week that you particularly have your eye on for us?
I'm going to go with Sunday Night Football between Tampa Bay and Dallas. Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield went wild last week, and I think he's going to go wild again this week. And Dallas, now that the Cowboys are completely out of the playoffs, Tampa Bay is still fighting for the division. I like Baker and the boys to mess up Dallas's Christmas plans.
All right, sounds great, Raphael. We certainly appreciate it. Have a wonderful holiday, and we will look forward to talking with you in the next week or so.
Take it easy. A fantastic holiday.
Thank you so much. That's Rafael Esparza from MyBookie telling us where we need to place our money. We always enjoy that. We will be back on the Frangie Show to update you on how the Gators are doing in Tampa. You're listening to 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
Let's take it down the field and win it. It's a different kind of Sunday drive. 10th play of the drive here. Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville brings you the drive of the game. Here's the ball game on 1010XL.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. Find your holiday season stride with MyBookie. Take advantage of their live betting, especially if a heavy favorite gets off to a slow start. And check out their cool prop bets. If you haven't signed up, go to mybookie.ag and register for a free account. Use promo code 1010XL to get a 50% bump on your first deposit. For a limited time, MyBookie will add 50% to your initial deposit. Let's take a look at some updated MyBookie lines. The Jaguars are a 1.5-point underdog at the Las Vegas Raiders. The over-under is 40.5 points. The Texans are a 3-point underdog at Kansas City. The Ravens, a 6.5-point favorite at home against the Steelers. Sign up with that promo code 1010XL to claim your deposit bonus. Again, it's a 50% bonus. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
Hey guys, it's your boy E.T. here. Give yourself and your partner the gift of better love in this holiday season. Let's make it a little easier for you too. Get yourself some Blue Chew. They have chewable tablets with the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, and Staxin. You can Blue Chew all online too. They have licensed medical professionals to help you find the right prescription and strengths. You don't even have to go to the doctor's office or the pharmacy. And when they mail it to you, it comes right to your front door in a discreet package. Nobody but you will know what's inside. And did I mention they make it right here in the good old US of A? Blue Chew has a great offer for you this holiday season. How does free sound? Go to BlueChew.com, consult with a licensed medical provider, and get your first month for free. That's right, I said it, free. Turn that holiday stress into some holiday cheer. Visit BlueChew.com.
Frank Frangie here. It's the holiday season, and Nimnick Chevrolet is here for you. Whether you're making memories on the road or continuing family traditions right here in Jacksonville, you can always count on us because there's nobody but Nimnick. The Red Tag sales event is back at Nimnick Chevrolet. This month, you can save up to $12,000 off a new Silverado. And unlike most dealerships, Nimnick Chevrolet has the largest inventory on the ground, ready for you to explore. So shop online 24/7 at nimnickchevy.com. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
To get this thing unwrapped here.
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Daily Stash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, you know, like me. I'm sure there's a Daily Stash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course.
Oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Daily Stash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Daily Stash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
This is Hays Carlyon from my friend Holt at Harrell & Harrell. There doesn't seem to be enough time in the day to get everything done. Then you get injured in an accident and you don't know what you're going to do. Let Harrell & Harrell make it easy for you. Easy on becoming a client. You can just text or email if you want. Easy on finding a doctor and getting through the process. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harrell & Harrell and make it easy on yourself. Call them at 904-251-1111. That's 251-1111.
Getting you ready for the game. Pre-game Friday. Built by Dream Finders Homes on 1010XL.
Shania Twain.
Let's go, girls.
Live in Jacksonville. Shania Twain. One incredible show. Live at Daly's Place, July 29th. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. For more, visit ShaniaTwain.com.
Out of this world.
Hey, Florida drivers, the holiday season is upon us. When celebrating, always plan ahead and know all your options. If you drink, don't get behind the wheel. Instead, designate a sober driver or catch a ride service. And if you are the designated sober driver, commit to staying sober. Besides, a DUI could cost you $10,000. Not exactly the best gift you could give yourself. Celebrate responsibly and remember to drive sober or get pulled over. This message brought to you by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Get the latest on the Gators from one of the greatest Gators.
Touchdown, Gators!
Chris Doring joins Dan and Jeff on the drill Tuesday morning on 1010XL.
Go Gators!
Brought to you by the personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys Locksmith Service.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler. I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Go to WM.com/Duval.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
The Jaguars are set to face not just one of the best rookies in the league, but maybe the best tight end in all of football in Brock Bowers coming up on Sunday. Here's Ryan Nielsen going over some of the reasons Bowers has been so great this season.
He's a really good athlete, great body position in space, and he has a knack of, without putting his body on a receiver, on a DB, when he's the receiver and getting it open, they do a good job getting him the ball. Really talented player and all, and he's a good blocker too. Like he gets him and he'll turn the guy and they'll get some runs behind him. So yeah, he's playing really good football.
Bowers has 90 catches for 968 yards on 4 touchdowns so far this season. I'm Max Fink with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now back to a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. Big Chief Tire. Visit BigChiefService.com.
And we welcome you back to the program. Do want to thank you for joining us. Thanks to our friends at Big Chief Tire. 5 locations on the First Coast, the north side, 2 on the west side, Orange Park, and the south side. Come on by, go by any of those locations. You'll be glad you did if you need any automotive service at all. Now, here's the big money people here coming. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I see the big money people lining up here. So come on by. We've asked you to donate, and if you want to get a chance, you get a free beer. Just donate to Walk Off Charities. Doesn't matter how much you donate. Anybody that donates gets one. We've had a great group of people that have walked in here and are kind enough to donate, so we surely do appreciate all of them.
Absolutely.
By the way, that is Chris Halter, who is Colby Halter's dad, who's a very good player in Florida.
Oh, okay.
Very good baseball player now in the A's organization. But come on by and say hello. We'd love to see you. We appreciate all you've done. And look, even if you don't want to make a donation to walk-off, come watch football with us. We do want to thank our friends from Karis Wealth Management and, of course, all the people here at Springs. This is a beautiful Springs location. I mean, it is really, really nice. It is located on Penman Road. It's absolutely packed to the gills today. It's Friday. It's the holiday season. The Gators are playing. It's a fantastic, fantastic crowd, and they did a really good job of this thing. So congratulations to Scott Adib and all the folks here that have built this thing. The Gator game, Florida leads 6-0 midway through the second quarter. in a most forgettable game so far. Sloppy on both sides. Tulane missed an easy field goal. Florida has had penalty after penalty on offense that have stalled drives. So 2 Trey Smack field goals, the only scoring in this game. DJ Lagway's been okay.
Yeah, kind of disappointing.
Yeah, been a little bit sloppy, but they've run the ball well. It is interesting that Brendan Crenshaw Dixon is not in uniform. Montrell Johnson is in uniform but is not playing, and there's no word about the fact whether or not he's hurt or not. I do get the impression there were some quiet, respectful opt-outs.
I think so.
Even though no one's saying that. My guess is Montrell's in uniform in case they need him,
right.
But he's probably not planning on playing in the game.
Yeah.
And I get that. And they didn't want to announce an opt-out because opt-outs don't have a good feel to them. But my guess is that's probably what we're dealing with here, some very respectful opt-outs.
I would think so. And, yeah, Florida's moved the ball. I mean, they just got a first down here. I think they're upwards of about 190 yards.
Right.
But just haven't been able to find the end zone yet. Lagway had a really bad pick.
Yeah.
Was trying and backed up in his own territory. Stepped up into the pocket, was trying to locate something, didn't see a defender, and threw a very easy interception. Like you mentioned, fortunately for the Gators, Tulane misses a very short field goal to not take advantage of the turnover. But yeah, I haven't been overly impressed. I also thought Lagway airmailed a deep ball that had the ball been a little closer, I think they would have gotten an interference call because the Tulane defender was clearly grabbing at the back of the jersey. But I think my guess is since he overthrew it by about 10 yards, maybe the official was like, well, I don't think the receiver could have gotten to it anyway.
Total yards right now, Florida 189, Tulane 37 yards in the game. So Florida's dominated the game, but it's just a clunky game. It just has a kind of a weird feel to it.
That might have been his best throw.
Yeah, he threw a long corner out to his tight end, Tony Livingston. But it just doesn't have a sharp – the game doesn't have a sharp feel to it.
No.
And look, part of that is you haven't played in a while.
Right.
And so Florida is just okay offensively anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, the play calling is an issue. We've all talked about that. And we'll see whether – I say play calling, the scheme. It's the scheme, the way they go about it on offense. So, but they're driving now. They've got the ball at the 41-yard line or so, and we'll see what happens. Tonight, by the way, Indiana, Notre Dame. I know it's Indiana. I wish it was Alabama, Notre Dame. But I'm looking forward to watching the game because it's it's the first playoff game college football has ever had, first game it's ever had in a 12-game tournament. It's kind of exciting.
It is exciting. And anytime you get to watch a snow game, that's exciting.
Is it going to be snowing?
And it was covered today in South Bend.
Was it really?
Covered today. So, I would anticipate that there will be some snow during that game. And
two snow teams.
And so that will be fun. Again, I have a problem with Indiana being in just because they beat absolutely nobody, and I do think that should be a prerequisite moving forward, is you got to have at least one top 35 win, wherever the committee, but something, at least one game where you can say, well, at least we beat this team. When your best win is over Washington, who I don't know if they were 6-6 or 7-5, but I know they were at least a 5-loss team. I have a problem with that. I think it's going to lend teams to just scheduling cupcakes where they can, and with these conferences being so big, you're going to have these unbalanced schedules. So there's going to be programs like in Indiana and other leagues. Like, who's to say Kentucky one year is going to get an SEC slate where of their 8 games, maybe they only really played one decent team.
Right.
And I just don't like so. But forgetting all that, I am excited for the game. And I think Notre Dame will pull away, but I think it'll be entertaining to watch for a little bit. But I would be surprised if the Fighting Irish don't cover the spread and win by double digits here.
Yeah, Josh Pate, by the way, tonight at 5:20 on the program.
Oh, great.
Our Woolsey Morecambe College Football Report, and he'll be able to weigh in. Good time to have him because it is a fun weekend of games. Again, it's not as many blue bloods as you like, but Clemson and Texas, that blood's about as blue as it gets.
That's a great game.
And then Tennessee and Ohio State tomorrow night.
Yeah, great game.
So there's some fun games. There are some good games. I just love that we have a tournament. What a day tomorrow, by the way, in sports. 2 good NFL games. So is it 2 or is it 1 again?
It's 2. We've got
2 good NFL games.
Texans at Chiefs, and we also have Steelers at Ravens.
Yeah, so 2 good. That's right. So 2 good NFL games tomorrow, which is going to be an awful lot of fun. College games all day long, so it's going to be this will be a fun I mean, it's a fun weekend for football and college football. Any surprises? Because I think Tennessee's going to beat Ohio State.
I do too.
I think Tennessee's going to win that game.
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to beat Oregon, but I think they're going to beat Ohio State.
Yeah, it's. I think Tennessee could get hot. Their defense has played well all year. It all comes down to the young quarterback. Nico has had moments. I mean, there's certain times where he throws a pass, and you say, well, that's the number one pick in whatever draft he is in.
Yeah.
And then there's times where he doesn't really have a good feel for the game yet. I think that'll be interesting, but there's so much pressure on Ryan Day and Ohio State. I think it caves them in. I think they buckle, and I think Tennessee, who I think is a good team anyway, I think Tennessee able to go on the road and get the win.
They're in a tough region, that's a region, tough side of the bracket, but they're about as good a sleeper upset pick. They're about as good of that is about anybody playing, don't you think?
Yeah, I'm surprised. Aren't you surprised it's a 7-point spread?
Yeah, I am surprised. But they're about as good a pick to surprise people as just about anybody is. I would not be surprised if all of a sudden you look up and Tennessee is the young team that caught fire.
Yeah. Do you think Indiana keeps it close?
I don't, because I think Notre Dame is going to be more physical. But I will be honest with you. Part of that too is I don't pretend to know Indiana. I don't think I've watched them at all. I think the one time that I would have watched them, the Ohio State game, Florida was playing the same time. So I haven't really watched them, so I don't really know them very well. But I don't know Indiana well enough to have an opinion on them. So Florida, by the way, in the red zone now. T.J. Abrams, one of those young receivers who just hadn't played very much. They got a lot of guys like that.
They do.
Young guys that were highly recruited that they just haven't been able to get in the game very much. He made a catch down to the 10-yard line. So the Gators are kind of knocking on the door here in what so far is a 6-0 game. Lagway kept it.
Wow.
On his own read, which he never does.
Yeah.
Got it to the 6-yard line. But no, I think Notre Dame. Keep an eye on Notre Dame in this thing. And not just tonight. I think Notre Dame is a team that has a chance, to be. I think Notre Dame's got a chance to go deep in this thing. I told you this before. If instead of SMU, Indiana, Boise, you had Ole Miss, Alabama, Miami, it would be the greatest tournament of all time.
Without a doubt.
We would all be just raving about it, The only reason we're not raving about it is the lack of blue bloods.
Yeah.
I think that's the whole thing, the lack of blue bloods.
That's the thing. I mean, it's and hopefully they'll be able to there's some things they need to tweak in terms of how they do. We've talked about the seeding. I think it's ridiculous that Boise State and Arizona State are the 3 and the 4 seed.
And they'll fix that.
That's the biggest fix that I think they need to make. And I do think they need to put more of an emphasis on strength of your wins.
Yeah.
But again, it will be fun. I'm glad that it's here, and I think it's going to go one of two ways. I think it's either going to be chalk and it'll be, oh geez.
Boy, he's had a really bad game. DJ Lagway on 3rd and goal from the 4-yard line. When they are knocking on the door, a field goal makes it a 2-possession game. Just threw an interception right to the second time in the game, he's thrown an interception right to a defender. Never even saw him. That is a really bad pick. And Florida leads only 6-0. And this is as bad as I've seen Lagway. Watching Lagway today, that's inexplicable.
That's bad.
He has thrown 2 interceptions today that make no sense. Tried to force something he's a freshman now. In fairness, the guy's a freshman.
And again, I don't know if it's the hamstring, but on a couple of these, just keep running.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really seem to want to do that.
Yeah.
But maybe that'll be some advice that Napier gives him because I think on that one, maybe he would have had a chance to score. Right. And certainly on the first pick that he threw on the 3rd and 6, I think he had room to at least get close.
Right.
And
but the play there is throw it in the stands and kick your 3rd field goal.
Sure, or just try and run it in. I mean, you're inside the 5. But anyway, disappointing. This is one where Tulane's hanging around.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, let's get it back to NFL. Pete Prisco joins us. The Prisco Report after this. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL. Uncover what you might have missed.
He's quick. He's got great hands. He finds the gaps.
Tandy Foods Post-Game Monday.
And most importantly, he moves the chains.
Expert analysis of Sunday's game all day. Post-Game Monday. Brought to you by Tandy Foods on 1010XL.
When you're a little kid on the playground, they tell you don't hit back. Well, the courtroom isn't a playground. And if you've suffered an injury or death in your family, I'm here to tell you it's okay to hit back and fight to make them pay. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we understand all the pain and emotion that comes with being wrong. And we've dedicated our lives to making things right for people like you. So if you get hit back with Hastings Injury Law. Offices, Jacksonville.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Have you heard? Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet are aiming to sell 1,000 vehicles this December. How? I've told my team to take all reasonable offers. We won't lose your business over price. With thousands of cars, trucks, and SUVs on the ground, all priced to sell, we guarantee the most money for your trade and the easiest car buying experience ever. I promise we ain't leaving nothing on the table. This is the absolute last weekend. Visit Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. We're here to wow you.
Jingle bells, plumbing's gone astray. A burst pipe, no hot water clogged drain on Christmas Day. That's no holiday. Call Duck Duck Rooter. We're faster than Santa's sleigh.
904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to carlsondentalgroup.com. That's carlsondentalgroup.com for all of your dental needs.
The 1010XL restaurant of the day.
Moss Fire Grill in Riverside. Happy hour 3 to 7 with drafts, margaritas, and handcrafted bites starting at only $5. Moss Fire Grill.
See you on the rooftop.
If your high school student is a high performer, they could be 1010XL Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
And the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234.
Wednesdays on The Frangie Show.
On 1010XL.
Sportsforecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web. Precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At sportsforecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. Sportsforecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Prosser here for Lifetime Flooring. You've heard us rave about Lifetime Enclosures. Now let's talk about Lifetime Flooring. I can tell you firsthand, the product, services, best in Jacksonville. As you know, updating your floors is one of the most dramatic changes you can make to your home. Call the experts at Lifetime Flooring now and ask about their buy one room, get one room free promotion through Christmas. 0% financing, available to meet any budget. Visit their beautiful showroom just off Phillips Highway. And as always, tell them Prosser sent you.
My name's Jim. I'm 53 years old. There should be options in life, like ways to lose weight. You know, medications now feel like the only option. I mean, it sounds like a guarantee. I do have friends who have lost weight with them. I tried holding off. I did other diets, but I was miserable. You know, I'd rather be fat and happy. The problem was I wasn't happy fat. I was about to start the meds, but then I heard of Awaken 180's GLP-1 program. Turned out it does the same thing as the meds without injecting myself for life. It absolutely worked. I dropped 45 pounds. I'm now in maintenance, and I feel better than my friends who are still on the meds. Listen, I barely know what GLP-1 is. What I do know is Awaken 180 worked for me, and I was far from miserable doing it.
Thanks, Jim. You all know our success with Awaken 180, and now with Awaken 180's GLP-1 Balance, you address the root causes of weight issues. Do it naturally, then keep it off. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Ho, ho, ho!
When I need gifts for special people, I go to Tobacco Cove at 3849 Bay Meadows Road. They have everything you need to make Christmas as special as they are. Find the finest in limited cigars, pipes and pipe tobacco, and the accessories that make life easier like humidors, cutters, and lighters. And don't forget Lampe Bergère fragrance lamps. So, take my advice and go to Tobacco Cove, 3849 Bay Meadows Road, and make this Christmas one they'll remember.
Want to be up close and personal with the Jaguars as they take the field? Here's your chance to be in the shadows, outside the Jaguars locker room, now called the Vault. Enter today at everbank.com/shadows. One winner and a guest for every home game at Everbank Stadium. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry periods for the Shadow Sweepstakes promotion from 8/19/24 to 12/15/24. For official rules and complete details, visit everbank.com/shadows. Sponsored administrator, Everbank N.A. member FDIC.
Brackish Vodka, the official vodka of UNF Athletics, 100% made in Jacksonville, is available at all local liquor stores. Visit Browdy's, Total Wine, ABC, Shores, Golden, Sahara's, Golden Ox, and more. Drink our gluten-free San Francisco Spirit award-winning vodka and see why it's the smoothest vodka you can buy. When you drink Brackish Vodka, you support all of our local employees and all the money stays in Jacksonville. Drink Brackish Vodka and live life slightly salty. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
I'm Max Fink here with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. Some massive recruiting news broke this week that shocked the college football world. Just days after five-star wide receiver Dallas Wilson signed with Oregon on National Signing Day, Wilson was granted a release from the Ducks and is now set to become a Florida Gator. Wilson looks to make an immediate impact in the Gators wide receiver room as a high-value freshman next season. Gators Online's Zach Olberverdi broke down the pickup is so big for the Florida Gators.
And this is a huge development for Florida. I mean, wide receiver is one of their biggest needs just in general in the 25 cycle because of the two playmakers that they're losing, Elijah Badger and Shamir Dike. So to add Wilson to what was already a really good receiver class is quite the haul for Florida.
It's 63 degrees at 4:56. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Time for all things Jaguars and NFL with Pete Prisco. The Prisco Report, presented by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Showtime.
On the Frangie Show.
All right, it is time to talk NFL football. My buddy Pete Prisco joins us now from CBS Sports. As always, brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Head to Showtime for all your holiday shopping. You got a week or so before every team you possibly could root for. They have it there at Showtime. It's a great place to shop for the holidays on Phillips Highway at the end of Shad Road. Head to Showtime, and they always bring you the Pete Prisco Report. Pete, Merry Christmas. How are you, man?
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you guys. Hope you have a good one.
You know what? And same to you. Hey, a few thoughts here. I'll get to the Jags in a second here. Pete, the NFL has so many games now. Obviously, they've had some double hitters on Monday. They're going to play Saturday against some of the college games. They're going to have a full slate on Sunday. They're going to play again on Monday. Now there's two games on Christmas Day. Then is there too much? Is the NFL ever in danger of oversaturating its market or no?
Not yet. And that's why I think they're pushing, and that's why they continue to push the envelope. But you know what? Look, everything, we've seen it in other sports. We've seen it in other things, and, entertainment industry. You do have a shelf life, and if you push too hard, you go over the edge. And so they got to be careful with it. But as far as right now, absolutely not. And people will say, well, why are they playing on Saturday when the college games are being played? Well, they've been playing on Saturday after their Army-Navy game for years. The colleges kind of got into their territory a little bit. So, look, is there a chance they play too much going forward? Yes. But right now, I say no.
Yeah, and I agree with you on the Saturday, by the way. This has always been the Saturday after Army-Navy and before the bowl games has been NFL territory, and college kind of encroached on that. I agree with you. That's the NFL doesn't have to apologize for that. It's just so many, and I love it. I'll watch every one of them. Right? I'll try. We're going to try to eat late on Christmas Day, but I just wonder if there's a danger of it. So we'll see what winds up happening. Let's get to the Jaguars for a second. Jags and Raiders. Let me start with the Raiders. Boy, they're a mess. I mean, we talk about the Jag struggles. The Raiders have won 2 games. I don't think any of the quarterbacks on their roster are very good. Minshew, I think, was the best one. He's gone. I don't think Aiden O'Connell's very good. Desmond Ritter's worse. How did that franchise, Pierce, I think, is on the hot seat. How did that franchise spiral down so badly, Pete?
Well, I think it took them a while to get a guy in there that could fix it. You know, the Gruden years weren't very good. They didn't draft very well, and that ultimately comes back and bites you in the behind. And you know, now Tom Telesco's in there, and he's done a pretty good job with this draft class. But, you know, you still got to get more. And, you know, the quarterback, it always starts with the quarterback. And if you don't have a quarterback, you're going to have all your ills are going to be exposed. And I think that's what you see with the Raiders. You know, they start 2 rookies on the offensive line. They're both going to be really good players. And so that's a good thing for the future, but you got to fix the quarterback position. And that's why I think the Raiders picking first is so much more important than it is to a team like Jacksonville, because they have to get that quarterback. It's essential they get one of those 2 guys. And so I think for them, look, winning is not a good thing right now, but there are ultimately going to be changes too. I think Tom Brady's going to come in there and he's going to put one of his guys in there. I don't think Pierce is going to be around. You know, maybe you hear Mike Vrabel. Maybe he's the coach of the Raiders, former teammate of his. But they have to do something to change the culture in that building, because it's just been a mess for a long time.
Yeah, and it really is. Final thing about the Raiders, I'll get to the Jags. Football in Vegas, is it worked swimmingly? Is it just another big city with a good franchise? Or they with all the gambling now being kind of public, if you will, are they happy to be there, the NFL?
Oh, they're thrilled to be there. I mean, all you have to do is go back and look at the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl was a grade A success. I mean, it was easy. It was, and people who didn't go to the game come to Vegas to hang out. And so, yeah. And, you know, look, have there been any instances? No. Teams are pretty much well behaved when they go there, and rightfully so. It's no different than if you went to, you know, a city that has a big party nightlife.
Right.
You know, you only have so many days before a game. Why would you go blow that the night before? You want to go to Vegas? Go in March. You don't have to go crazy the night before a game. So I do think it's been well received. I think the stadium being where it is a good thing. So, yeah, Frank, I think if you ask the NFL, they'd be thrilled with where they are.
Pete Prisco with us talking NFL football. We'll get to the Jags now. Boy, this guy, Brian Thomas Jr., I knew he would be good. Let me say I knew. I thought he would be good. My LSU friends told me he was maybe even more talented than Malik Neighbors once he got going. Pete, I didn't think he'd be this good. Are you surprised that Brian Thomas Jr. is this good? And what's in your mind, what's the ceiling for this guy?
No, because I thought he was right there with Neighbors. And, you know, look, I wasn't big on Marvin Harrison. I was in a different pool of that one. I don't think he plays with the suddenness that those 2 guys play with. And that's why I had a Neighbors 1, and Thomas was going to be my number 2. I love the kid. I thought, you know, everything you heard out of LSU was it took him a while. And why did it take him a while? Because he looked around and he said, wait, I got to work like Neighbors works. And he didn't always do that. That's what I was told. And now he's just a pro's pro, loves it, lives it, works it. And you could see that on a touchdown last week, the one in the middle of the field. That route, where he, you know, put his foot in the ground, chopped a little bit, boom, off he went, wide open. That's the route he didn't run early in the season. Now he's running that because he knows how to do it. You know, he's always been a speed threat. I think he's got a chance to be in that elite of the elite. Now, is he going to be Jefferson or Chase? That's high praise. But if he's just under that or, you know, close to it, then they have their number 1 wide receiver for a long, long time.
I can tell you 2 behind-the-scenes stories about him, Pete. Number 1, when he had the injury, he could have missed a game or 2. And he went to the coaches, and he went to Doug specifically and said, I want to play. He said, I want to play. Look, there's a Rookie of the Year award out there going to somebody. I want to be in it, and so I'm playing, which is kind of a cool thing. Secondly, I was around him a little bit yesterday in the building before he was kind of in the back before he went out to do his media. Pete, he's a regular guy. He's not all caught up in it. He's not all, hey, look at me. He's a neat kid. I think he's grounded enough that he's going to handle all these accolades. You know what I mean? He's some guy, you have to be kind of grounded when all the praise is coming, and I think he's really that guy.
And that's the best thing about it is as he gets better and better, he's going to get better and better. You know, those 2 kids, the other 2 kids from LSU, Chase and Jefferson, are pretty grounded too, Frank. Right. So I think that's a good thing, and maybe that's something that comes from being in that program.
What have you seen from Mac Jones? He's now, this will be his 5th start at the Jaguars. We've played some now. We saw him a little bit. First year, he was actually pretty good with the Patriots, but not so much after. Some up and some down. Plays better with tempo. We all know that now. He's played well at the end of some games. What have you seen from Mac Jones?
Yeah, and I think it's, what we're seeing from Mac Jones is that Mac Jones is a backup and a capable backup. I don't think he's more than that. I don't think he's going to, he has played himself into a guy who's going to go get a second chance and be a starting quarterback somewhere. I think there are a lot, there are moments where you look at it and you go, okay. And then there are moments you look at it and you go, what is he doing? And why is the ball sailing? And why is he throwing out of bounds and not giving the guy a chance? So some good, some bad. It's, he's not a guy, I don't think, that's going to be a regular starter in the NFL. But, boy, he's a good guy to come in off the bench and be a backup because he has command of the offense. He understands where to go with the football. It's just, I think, physically, the driving the ball, keeping the ball in play, there's a bunch of little things that hold him back, and I think that's why he's now a capable backup, but nothing more, I don't think.
Pete, the youth movement is on for the Jags, part of it by necessity. A lot of the veteran guys are hurt. So now Brenton Strange has to catch more balls. Parker Washington has to catch more balls. But defensively, Monteric Brown is kind of past Ronald Darby, so he's the corner over there. Doug Peterson made it clear Trey Prince, another one of their young draft picks, is going to play some in that secondary. Antonio Johnson needs to keep playing, even though he's blown some assignments. The youth movement is on. Do you agree with that? It's kind of time to see, regardless of who's going to be leading what next year, it's kind of time to see those young guys, don't you think?
Yeah, Mason's another one.
Right,
yes,
right.
Absolutely. I think you do have to play those guys. You got to find out what you have, and look, Monteric Brown over Ronald Darby, the time was right. It had to happen, and I think it's a good thing to play Monteric Brown, and you play the younger players. I'm a big believer in that because Ronald Darby's not in their future, and so why not play the younger players? And they flashed. Monteric Brown did some good things, and he's done some good things this year. And so Darby's had a rough go of it. So, even though you signed him as an agent, why not make the move? So I credit them and I credit Doug Peterson for doing that. It's the right thing to do.
Are they going to beat the Raiders, Pete? They're going to win, right?
Yeah, they are. I think they will. And they're going to win. They're going to lose for winning because I think, drop down that draft board.
Right.
I do. I think this Raiders team's a mess in a lot of ways, a lot of youth. No Max Crosby. That changes your whole dynamic.
Right.
And you see who their pass rusher is right now.
Caleb Von Chase on, bro. We know him. So.
Yeah. And he's done a good job for them. But, again, if that's your top pass rusher, you have problems at a bunch of other spots on that team. I think Jacksonville will run the ball, go in there, and Brian Thomas will do a couple things like he always does, and I think they'll find a way to win the game.
Final thing or two. League-wide, does it still look like the same players down the stretch? Are the Lions now too beat up? I mean, the Lions look like the NFC's representative in the Super Bowl till 2 weeks ago, but now David Montgomery's hurt. All those defensive guys are hurt. Are they too banged up? Are the Eagles now the team to beat in the NFC? Even the Chiefs have leaked a little bit of oil, even though Mahomes looks like he's healthy now. Any changes in what you think is going to happen down the stretch here?
Yeah, I worry about the Lions. I think it's so hard look, the Montgomery injury you can overcome because they're such a good offense. You get Baki who'll run the ball in the tough situations. You still have Gibbs. But defensively, you lose your best pass rusher and maybe the best in the league in Hutchinson this year. Right. You lose McNeil, your best interior pass rusher and your best run player. You lose Anzalone and Rodriguez at the second level. And then you go to the third level, and now Carlton Davis is out. That's big-time players at every single level. How do you overcome that? And I'm not sure they can. So I'm worried about the Lions. I think it's the Eagles, the Packers. I think those teams, those two in the NFC are really the ones to keep an eye on going forward. And then the Rams. The Rams are hot, but they got to be careful game this week against the Jets. So that sounds crazy, Frank, but you know how those West Coast teams go for the early game across the country in the cold, and that's not a great Jets team. But Rodgers and Adams were a little bit better the last couple of weeks. So that's a be careful game. And then the AFC, look, the Chiefs, all they're doing is getting ready for the postseason. None of this stuff matters in the regular season. No, they'll probably be the number one seed. 2 games at their place. Tough to beat them there. And we know that guy can get hot in the postseason. But the Bills are the real threat. That's the threat. That team is legitimately good. The quarterbacks are great. And they are a real threat to the Chiefs.
All right. As we move on, we say goodbye, Merry Christmas. I believe I've got to believe that Casey bought you for Christmas trips to all those ASU playoff games. Please tell me you're traveling first class right there out of that Lauderdale airport, right? Isn't that what we're doing? You got to be doing that, right?
We are going to the round one for sure. We are
Love
going,
it.
We will both be there in Atlanta, and I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. I said if it was in my lifetime and they were in the playoffs, I would go, and we are both going, and I can't wait. Thanks to the Atlanta Falcons. They hooked me up with some tickets.
Awesome.
And, we will be there right smack dab in the middle of it, Frank. And I haven't been to a game as a fan. In fact, it was when ASU played at Georgia, and I can't remember what year that was, like about a decade ago. It was raining, and me and Casey went to that game, and it was a miserable game, and Georgia won. But back in Atlanta. And by the way, the championship game is in Atlanta again, right?
Right, that's right. Yep.
Yeah, so I'll be back for that one.
Good. And you should. I'm telling you what, they were a cute story, and Dillingham's a good coach, and the quarterback, Levitt. All of a sudden, I think they might be pretty good, Pete. I think all of a sudden they're pretty good. I mean, hell, they may win the damn thing. And there's stranger things, There's not one dominant team, maybe Oregon, but I wouldn't be shocked. Isn't that crazy?
No, and they're big and physical on the offensive line for the first time in a long time, and that really keys the whole thing. So, no, look, I'd rather play Clemson than Texas because Texas is so big and physical, but the quarterback isn't playing very well. But I'd still rather play Clemson than Texas. So hopefully Clemson wins. They play Clemson, then they advance, and they'll have to beat Oregon. Look, they know those teams. They know them. They've been around them. They know what it takes to beat them. It will be a tough game to beat them. But, hey, look, you can do it.
Pete, have a great Christmas and have a great trip, man. We appreciate it. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, guys. Merry Christmas to everybody.
All right, Pete Prisco checking in from CBS Sports, brought to you by Showtime. One more time, Showtime is your stop for all your holiday shopping needs. Back with more from Strings. Our picks are next. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Sometimes it's a stunning performance.
3 touchdowns tonight.
Sometimes it's the guy who gets the job done.
He doesn't take a play off.
Listen from a Universal Roof and Contracting Offensive Player of the Game.
He is a difference maker now.
On 1010XL.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make, and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is, and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
Hey, John, are you a small business owner looking to make the most of your investments?
Absolutely. And now is the time to take advantage of some incredible tax deductions.
You can qualify for a 2024 tax deduction for up to 60% of the purchase price of a brand new Cadillac.
Think Escalade, Lyriq, Optic, XT5, and XT6.
We have over 100 in stock at Rainy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville. It's the perfect time to upgrade your business fleet.
This is not tax advice. Consult with your tax advisor for further details and to determine eligibility, plus tax tag title $8.99 admin fee and resist all and approved credit.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. With so many messages, we know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. We'll help you find doctors to get you better, and we'll work hard to maximize any recovery. Visit our website and look at our reviews to see how we've helped people just like you make this important decision. Harrell & Harrell. Offices, Jacksonville.
Football's heating up. The NBA is back. And on Hard Rock Bet, you can bet every sport. Even combine all your sports into one bet. One Florida bettor put $50 on a combo parlay and won more than $100,000. And they tacked on another $10,000 to that win with a daily profit boost. Promos every day for every kind of player. Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us. Win your first bet or get up to $100 back in bonus bets. Payable and bonus bet up to $100, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
The Sawgrass Marriott Golf Resort and Spa is the perfect place for indulging in a pampering spa treatment. This holiday season, give the gift of wellness with a gift card and take advantage of the spa's current promotion. With the purchase of a $75 gift card or more, guests get a credit towards a future service. With healing massages, revitalizing facial treatments, and more, a day at the Sawgrass Spa makes the perfect gift. Purchase in person at Sawgrass Spa during operating hours.
Pre-game Friday.
Built by Dream Finders Homes. Homes built to fit your lifestyle on 1010XL.
Experience the winning combination of style and performance with Renewal by Andersen. Energy-efficient, custom-built replacement windows and doors. Right now, buy one window or patio door and get one 40% off. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. The first 50 customers get a free True Screen upgrade, but this offer expires December 31st. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com for details.
License number CGC 1527613.
Rotator cuff injuries are common among athletes and those who have physically demanding careers. Don't let this injury keep you away from the sport you love. Dr. George Barry here, and the first thing you need to do with a serious shoulder injury is to diagnose where the damage is and how significant it is. Rotator cuff tears are either acute tears sustained during an injury or accident, or degenerative tears. If you're interested in learning more about rotator cuff repair and how our expert team of orthopedic surgeons can help you, call Barry Orthopedics today or visit barryorthopedics.com.
You can't go inside your home team's locker room, so Jags beat reporter Hays Carlyon goes there for you.
Work on three, 1, 2, 3,
Hays Carlyon here. Find my blog at 1010XL.com.
Brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing, where quality and experience count.
There's still time to grab a mouth-watering holiday roast at Southern Steer Butcher in Ortega. Come for the roast and leave a hero with last-minute gift cards for the whole fam.
For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Visionaries, builders, and doers, are you ready to change the world? Miller Electric is your opportunity to shape the future. Miller Electric is leading the charge in electric vehicle technology with our state-of-the-art EV Innovation Design Center. We're working to create a sustainable future. We're also the proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, powering their performance at the brand-new Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric, we provide competitive pay, unbeatable benefits. Apply today. MillerCareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, really? That's great.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
I can't have any more? Why not?
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Make a resolution this new year to send all of your friends or family a Kuhn Flowers floral arrangement. E.T. here with 1010XL. Okay, how about sending just one person you love a floral arrangement? Kuhn Flowers can handle it.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Time now for the College Football Insider, brought to you by the law firm of Woolsey Morecambe on The Frangie Show.
All right, it is time to talk college football. Josh Paisley, Josh does such a fantastic job talking college football. Kind enough to join us again on the Woolsey Morecambe National College Football Report. Josh, I'm glad to have you on the air because you can rescue us from maybe the worst half of football in the history of the sport. We're on live remote here. People are packed watching the Gators, and it might have been the worst half I've ever seen. Josh, rescue us from this. How bad was that half?
So I'm on the road to Columbus, Ohio right now, so I was spared. So I got no idea what you're talking about. It's been a great Friday for me.
Well, you know what? Congratulations on that. It should be. Hey, let me ask you, did we haven't had you on since it all played out. Did the committee get it right? And I know it was damned if you do, damned if you don't in a lot of this. But from your vantage point, do you like how it played out, the 12 teams that are in it?
I got no problem with it. I mean, I got a problem with the formatting itself, but that's a whole nother conversation. My mentality towards the whole thing was when we are inserting teams with 3 losses into the equation, I'm not going to be upset if they get in, but I'm certainly not going to be upset if they're left out. You are not going to hear me say anyone got screwed. I am someone who didn't want the thing to expand a whole lot anyway, so I am certainly not going to shed a tear over the 12th or 13th team and whether they should have been inverted. And I think the whole auto bid conference championship thing, that's going to sort itself out in the next couple of years too. So a lot of the wailing and gnashing of teeth right now, I think, will be a moot point come 2026.
Josh, let's get to the game you're headed towards. What do you think we're going to see in that matchup?
Man, I got no idea. I am telling you right now, if Tennessee were to start off against Ohio State like they started off against Georgia and go in there and grab a 10-0 lead, I don't know that I just blindly trust Ohio State to respond like Georgia did. And I'll tell you why. Carson Beck, I thought, played his best game of the year against Tennessee. I don't know that Will Howard is capable of pulling that off. Now, he threw for over 300 against Oregon. That's the only time he did it all year. So in a big moment, he has done it. I've heard Chip Kelly talk all week about how we went back and watched the Michigan film and we got to use these receivers more. Well, of course you do. But you know what that does? I mean, that telegraphs to me, you know you got the injuries on the offensive line. You know you hadn't run the ball great. You know Tennessee can get after you up front defensively. Well, all of a sudden, if I'm kicking off a game in 22-degree weather and the road team's the one that's more dependable running the ball, and I'm the one that's got to throw the ball more effectively, first thing I think is weather favors the team from the south. And the second thing is, can I get back in this game if I get down early? So I picked Ohio State mainly because the alternative is this entire world that feels like it's over the edge of a cliff, a bunch of conversation about Ryan Day that I can't fathom. So I'm going with Ohio State to survive at least 1 week longer, but I don't have a ton of confidence in it.
I like, Hays and I talked about this, I like Tennessee in the game, but that's without the weather stuff. You know, how much, I mean, Southern teams aren't used to this. To be honest, I don't know what the Northern teams are either, by the way. There's not a lot of snow in August when they start games, but how much of a factor does that, in your mind, the weather we're going to get in South Bend and Columbus, how much of a factor do you think that'll be, Josh?
I think it's a factor the most in the Penn State game. I think SMU is going to be in a lot of trouble there. But I think it's a factor here as well. I agree with you, though. Anytime I'm listening to someone talk a lot of trash about how northern teams are, quote-unquote, used to playing in 20-degree weather, it's BS. Nobody's used to playing in 20-degree weather because we don't do it. You may practice in it a little bit more, like 45, 40, 35-degree weather in November if you don't choose to go indoors. But there are very few games that happen. The reason you remember them in your mind is because when you do see them, they're very memorable. But they're few and far between, and there's no roster in the Big Ten more littered with talent from the South, including Florida, than Ohio State's roster is. So, look, I'm telling you, in the aggregate, the style of play that will be required from each team, I think the weather is a wash, and if it favors anyone, somehow, some way, we've gotten ourselves into a situation where it actually favors Tennessee a little bit.
Yeah, those are all excellent points. What do you think we'll see in the Indiana at Notre Dame game later tonight?
Total rock fight. It's a total either-or game for me. Either the Indiana run defense is what it looks like it is on paper, and if it is, I mean, that is Indiana just flat-out win that game. Or Notre Dame looks at it kind of the way you would. This is no disrespect. I mean, you know, when these big teams play FCS opponents sometimes, and you may look at the stat pack and say, this team's number one in FCS in run defense. You look at it and you say, that's cute, but that's the FCS. We're going to run the ball like we always do, and they'll be able to do nothing to stop it. Notre Dame probably looks at Indiana, respects them a lot more, but thinks the same thing. We don't care what they did, all due respect against these other teams. We're Notre Dame. We're going to run the ball on them. There's nothing they can do about it over 4 quarters. They're going to have to stop it 50 times. And we'll see if they stand up to it, but I'll tell you something else that could invert that little paradigm. Indiana, quick passing is a very big key for them. They couldn't do it against Ohio State because their offensive line got caved. I'm not quite sure Notre Dame can get after them like that. So if they can get those quick passes out on the perimeter, force Notre Dame to tackle, that's game on. Cold weather's a factor there, but, you know, the quick passing game, I'm not sure it affects it as much. Who knows? We'll see. I picked Notre Dame. I went all the favorites here, guys, and that is not because I think 4 favorites are going to win. It's just because I don't want to be made a fool of trying to select where the upset's going to happen. I'm just happy going 3 for 4 in the first round.
Yeah, I think I like most of the favorites. I think Tennessee's going to win. I like most of the favorites. Texas and Clemson's an interesting game, Josh. because they've both leaked some oil throughout the course of the season in different ways, I think. Now, Texas-Georgia was a magnificent championship game. I know that. But can Clemson hang around with the Longhorns in Austin or no?
I think it's the worst mismatch of the first round. Turnovers, which Clemson has excelled in, that could change that game. It could change any football game we talk about. But if that game is played straight up, I hate Clemson and how they match up here. They give up explosive plays a lot defensively. So we've become conditioned to watching Texas sort of struggle a little bit offensively against Georgia, struggle a little bit offensively against A&M. I do not think they'll struggle as much against Clemson over the span of 4 quarters. And the other thing is Clemson has been total feast or famine offensively. It's been explosive plays or nothing. And I've watched them play high-caliber competition a few times this year. Louisville embarrassed them in Clemson. South Carolina beat them there and held them to 14. They played Georgia and got steamrolled at the beginning of the season. And this is right up there with, along with Georgia, one of the best rosters they've faced all year. I just don't think they match up. I think it's a very, very bad spot for them. Congrats to them for winning the ACC, but I think that's about as far as they go this year.
Josh, Georgia obviously has the bye, but how do you anticipate Kirby Smart maneuvering around the Carson Beck injury?
No different than what you saw in the second half against Texas. I think in college football it's a little interesting. It's different than the NFL. In the NFL, you see a quarterback go down, that correlates with that's the end of the season. Let's look ahead to what we can do next year. In college, sometimes it's like that as well. But with these high-caliber programs, Georgia being one of them, they tend to not build themselves to be quarterback-centric. And the reason they do that is because they can get themselves a roster advantage on the rest of the sport. They don't want to disproportionately lean on one player because that makes them vulnerable to one injury derailing their season. So Georgia's built with really, really good offensive linemen historically, good defense, really good athletes in the secondary, multiple and versatile up front, can get after you in a number of ways. And you saw that rise to the occasion when Beck went down against Texas. And I would dare say that team showed the most juice that it showed all year after their starting quarterback went down. That happens in college football sometimes. The collective, just in the aggregate, the collective performance, once a big player goes down, rises the team equal to or maybe even above the level they were playing at before the guy went down. And it makes no sense. When you watch it happen on TV, it makes no sense, but it happens sometimes. I think Georgia still has a good shot. I think they're going to be an incredibly tough out here, and I still think it's going to take a haymaker to beat them.
Yeah, I did too. I picked Georgia to win the whole thing, even without Carson Beck, so I'm with you on that.
I did too. I did too.
Even without. Hey, I was talking to my buddy Pete Prisco because he's a diehard ASU fan. He can't wait to go watch the Sun Devils because they're good for the first time in 88 years. But, the more I watch them, and we're talking about teams obviously down with the teams that have buys, Josh, I think they might be pretty good. Am I nuts to think Arizona State might be pretty good?
No. I mean, I've watched them in person this year. They're really good athletically. They're versatile enough. They they lost their best wide receiver going into that Big 12 championship game and just humbled Iowa State. Arizona the week before just humbled them. And the reason I mention those games is because they're the most recent games we've seen them play, but also it was coming off that BYU game. That's a letdown spot, and they surged instead of being let down. So Cam Scadaboo's going to run the ball against anybody. I'd be excited to see him play Texas because I don't think anyone's going to totally shut him down. He's not going to go for 250 on Texas, but I'd be interested to see that. I'd also be interested to see if they could get some turnover luck on their side. I think they match up better against Texas than Clemson does, even though the point spread would say otherwise.
Josh, peeking ahead to next season just a bit with Florida State, did you like the Thomas Castellanos addition, and what do you think of Norvell and the two coordinators that he hired?
I certainly love the defensive side. Really love that. He killed it there. Malzahn was interesting. Malzahn is a guy who historically has had to go and get his quarterback. He hadn't really developed one at a high level. It's always been either he inherited him or they got him out of the portal, whatever we call the portal before the portal existed. And so, I assume they were going to have to do that. He knows what he's looking for. He knows what skill set he's looking for. They obviously think Castellanos can pull it off for him. At the same time, you'd be hard-pressed to convince me I look in Tallahassee, Florida in 3 years, and Malzahn's the coordinator there. Just doesn't feel like it's something that's more than 1 or 2 years temporary. So I'm all in on defense. Offense, we'll see.
Final thing, Josh, we're watching this awful Gasparilla Bowl where Florida's playing lousy and Tulane's not very good and a bunch of players not in the game. But moving forward, do you buy the momentum the Gators seem to have found? I mean, they played really well at the end of the year. They've got their young quarterback. He did very well in recruiting at the end. It looks like he's making some noise in the portal. Do you think they're, I'm not going to say back's the wrong word, but headed back? Do you feel that way?
Yes. Yeah, I do. I think there was a little illusion. It almost, in retrospect, ends up being a blessing for Napier because if you can build a dip into your season and then finish, strong with what people kind of wanted you to be all along, you manufacture the illusion of momentum, or maybe it's not an illusion. Maybe it's real. But I just think sometimes we think in terms of seasons. And if it doesn't click from week one on, that's a lost season. Well, sometimes the dynamic of your program is we're going to be good, but we're not going to click until week 6, week 7, week 8. It just doesn't always work out perfectly in the span of a season. And maybe that's what we saw happen for Florida. Maybe it took getting into week 7, week 8 of the 2024 season, and then 2025 will fully reflect that. But you do not get to carry any of that momentum over. As much as the preview magazines will tell you otherwise, you start from scratch in spring. You got some of the same guys, but you start from scratch, and then you got to go start strong, which they were not able to do this past year.
Be very interesting to see what happens. All right, Josh, great work as always. Stay warm, man. Stay warm up there. It's going to be cold. Have fun. We appreciate you spending some time. Take care, buddy.
I appreciate it. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, Josh Pate really does a good job talking college football. I mean, I think he's one of the best people in the business. I really do. I think he's that good at talking college football. So, Josh Pate, that is our Woolsey Markham National College Football Report. All right, we'll take a break. I will update you. The Florida-Tulane game hasn't gotten any better. They're in the second half. Florida leads 6-0. Tulane has had very few yards. They missed a short field goal after a Lagway turnover. Lagway has struggled. No touchdowns in the game so far. So we'll update you. We have 1:07 to go. We'll do a little cool down. We'll wrap the program. Do a reminder, we're live at Strings, having a big time. Compliments of our friends from Karis Wealth Management. Back in a moment. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
3 college football playoff games on Saturday at Beaver Stadium. It is SMU taking on the Penn State Nittany Lions, and Penn State is an 8.5-point home favorite, minus 340 on the money line. SMU plus 270 with the over-under of 52.5. In Texas, the Longhorns will take on the Clemson Tigers. Texas, a 12-point home favorite in Austin, minus 450 on the money line. Clemson is at plus 340, and the over-under sits at 50.5. Tennessee and Ohio State in Columbus Saturday night. The Buckeyes favored by 7 points, minus 270 on the money line. Tennessee plus 220. The over-under at 46.5. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Hi, this is Jeff Norman.
And I'm Mike Jones.
And we are the owners of Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning.
With the holiday season upon us, we want to take a moment to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and say thank you to our amazing customers.
We're so grateful for the trust you place in us each year. It's been a pleasure serving you, and we hope you have a wonderful holiday season with family and friends.
And remember, if you have any issues, we'll be here to help throughout the holidays and beyond.
Merry Christmas from all of us at Duck Duck Rooter.
It's holiday season, and Nimnick Chevrolet is here for you. Whether you're making memories on the road or continuing family traditions right here in Jacksonville, you can always count on us because there's nobody but Nimnick. Now, that red tag sales event is back at Nimnick Chevrolet. This month, you can save up to $12,000 off a new Silverado. And unlike most dealerships, Nimnick Chevrolet has the largest inventory on the ground ready for you to explore. And with their extensive selection, you're sure to find the perfect truck at Nimnick. Available now, the all-new Silverado EV, designed to go the distance. The Silverado EV boasts 440 miles of range, more standard range than any competitor. And oh, by the way, ask about 0% financing and $7,500 instant cash savings on EVs. Remember, Nimnick will always give you top dollar for your trade. So if you're looking for a great place to shop over this holiday season, There's only one answer, Nimnik, because there's nobody but Nimnik.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Frank Frangie here. Big Chief Tire makes auto care affordable with 6-month financing with the CFNA card. Plus, get $50 off your first purchase when you sign up. Whether you need new tires, brakes, or general checkup, Big Chief's expert technicians will take care of your car with top-notch service. And with no interest for 6 months, now is the perfect time to handle your vehicle needs. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to apply for your CFNA card today. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
Tacos and sports go hand in hand, literally. You can watch sports with a taco in each hand or with a taco in one hand and a surfboard in the other. Don here from Taco Lou. I love sports, and since you're listening to this station, you love sports as well. If you love sports and tacos, then Taco Lou is calling your name. We always have the game on here, or you can call in a to-go order to watch at home, or let us cater your next watch party. Catering for the holidays? No problem. Taco Lou in Jack's Beach. Cheers to tacos, sports, holidays with the family, and tequila.
Share your voice anytime on the 1010XL text line.
Are you serious? Installed by Lifetime Flooring.
I gotta say, you're totally blowing my mind right now.
If you can't call or email, text us 641-1010.
Interested in a unique date night? Gibby here. I took my wife Nikki to Wick a Candle Bar. She made her own custom candle right there in the store. Shop local at Wick a Candle Bar. Locations in San Marco and Jack's Beach.
Open enrollment is here, so it's time to secure health coverage for your family. Whether you need Affordable Care Act plans, dental, or Medicare, visit one of the Florida Blue pop-up enrollment tents near you. They make the process easy and stress-free, with medical and dental insurance you can count on. Plus, listen to this. Based on eligibility, many people pay absolutely nothing for coverage. Find a pop-up tent in the Rose parking lot on Beach Boulevard near Southside and at Night of Wonders at the Orange Park Mall. Here's a reminder for Florida Blue members. You can access Sanitas Medical Center with 3 locations around town offering primary care, walk-in services, an on-site pharmacy, and mental health support. 3 Sanitas Medical Centers and 2 convenient Florida Blue pop-up enrollment sites combined for a winning team in Northeast Florida insurance coverage.
Hey folks, Dave Benyon with Zero Res. I asked my wife what she wants for Christmas, and she said the same thing she does every year. She wants a clean home full of family and friends. That means the carpets, the tile and grout, the large oriental rug in our family room, and the huge sectional sofa that everyone loves to hang out on all need a good Zero Res cleaning. Give Zero Res a call and get your carpets cleaned for only $49 a room, and get your tile and grout cleaned for 25% off. Zero Res spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zero Res. Discover the difference that local expertise makes at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Visit their showroom at the Avenues and browse high-quality products to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness at First Coast Lighting and Fans.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. Call 904-722-1111.
Instant Keys saves the day if you've lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call Instant Keys, 722-1111.
This is Dr. Steve Crenshaw, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Brian Thomas Jr. has been impressive this season in all aspects of his game. Press Taylor praised BTJ for the mental side of things, speaking on how impressed he was that a rookie absorbed the terminology so naturally and has had no issue whatsoever lining up at different positions.
Mentally, to be able to handle it, you wouldn't know it. We have our receivers are all lined up, X, Y, Z, F. He, throughout the course of the game, will align as multiple letters. That takes a lot of mental toll on guys of, I was the Z on this play, Chad signaled this, now I'm the F, I'm the X on this one, I got to know where to align, what to do. He can handle it. He's shown that through the course of the year. And then on top of that, you can run routes from the slot, going across the field, down the field, quick outbreakers, decision routes.
I'm Max Fink with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jacks cool since '87.
Where have we been today? Maybe yanking our hair out, watching this high-powered Florida offense. Florida has outgained Tulane like 300-50.
Yeah.
And it's 6-0, and they just burned yet another timeout early in the second half. We are here at Strings. Thanks for being part of our program today. A number of people came and donated to walk-off charities and got a free beer out of it. Thank you for doing that. It means a lot to us. You're helping kids. Every time you brought a little money, a kid got a baseball glove. So thank you for doing that. We've wrapped that part of it up. Do want to thank Karis Wealth Management and our friends Brad Ernst and the company here. The folks here, they did a wonderful job of sponsoring this thing. We sure do appreciate Brad and his folks, and we appreciate Scott and Dave and the folks from Strings. We love coming to Strings, so it's been a really fun show, good exposure for our walk-off, and people got this place is packed. People found out how magnificent Strings is, and it is magnificent. It really is.
Unbelievable day here, and hopefully Florida can punch one in and give us a little breathing room, but nothing has come easy.
Yeah, other things in the show. Doug Peterson stopped by today, as he always does, by phone, and talked about taking his team to Las Vegas for the Raiders game. We talked Jags and Raiders today. Rafael Esparza is always here from MyBookie to talk about the best bets of the week. Pete Prisco stopped by from CBSSports.com. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. And Josh Pate, Woolsey Morecambe National College Football Report. Late kick Josh does such a good job talking college football, so we appreciate Josh. Busy show today.
Yeah, good job, JJ.
Yeah, JJ, well done as always. All right, before we wrap up, Jags, Raiders. Think the Jags. We're not doing picks this week. I won't be here next week. But think the Jags.
I think the Jags win. I think they have significantly more talent. The Raiders still have their fight, and the Jaguars will need to bring that. But I think they will. So I think the Jaguars play with energy, and I don't think it'll be pretty. It might look a lot like the Gasparilla Bowl, but I think the Jaguars win the game. I'll say 17-6.
Yeah, JJ, if we were doing picks, would you have picked the Jags to win today?
I actually would. I thought it was kind of crazy that they were underdogs. Yeah. Just based on like what Vegas has been doing. At least the Jags are losing close games. But yeah, I like the Jags to win on Sunday.
Yeah, I think so too. The Raiders have lost 10 straight games. You realize they were 2-2 to start the season.
Yeah, they beat the Ravens.
They beat the Ravens 2-2 and beat the Ravens, and then it all went bad. They lost.
They at least gave their fans a month of hope.
Yeah, yes, they did. So, but they're 2-10. I think the Jags are going to win on the road. I'd be surprised, a little bit surprised if they don't win the game, but we'll see. You never know. It's a 2-12 team versus a 3-11 team, and the 2-12 teams at home and are favored. So that's the reality.
Do you ever get a vibe like before, like in the traveling?
Yeah.
Do you ever get a vibe at all, or is it hard to pick up on that if the energy's there?
Yeah, I've gotten energy. No, I'm not. I don't know. We're on the plane. We're not. I can't tell you that. I can tell you I've been at hotels when they're excited about the game, when the fan base, the players, you bump in and out of elevators. But I'm so bad at trying to predict what that means. I used to think I could get a gut on how they would do, and then it never works out that way. I mean, I could lie and say, yeah, I can. I can't. Yeah. I really can't get a good feel.
I remember Doug Marrone. We would ask him on Friday availability. How'd the team practice, or is the team ready? And he would be like, I have no idea. I've had games where we were terrible in practice all week, then we played great. And I've had games in my career where, you have a great week of practice and then you lay a complete egg. So.
You know how many times in baseball, I did this as a baseball player, you have a lousy bullpen and you throw well, or you have a great bullpen and you throw well. I mean, how about golfers? You crush it on the range. Right. you crush it on the range, and the next thing you know, after crushing it on the range, you get back to you play, and there's nothing there. So I don't get a good vibe. But I will say this: I think I like what the Jags are doing. By the way, the Gators had 1st and goal to 3. They're now kicking a field goal, and
this red zone offense
to extend this to perhaps an insurmountable 9-0 lead if they make it. But I don't get a great feel. I like what the Jags are doing, though, Hays, in terms of, look, play the young guys. And Doug Peterson, let's be honest, he doesn't know if he's going to be the coach here next year. He doesn't know that. But he knows what's in the best interest of the young players and what's in the best interest of the franchise is to get these young guys some time. The reality now is that the young guys need to play. I think everybody knows they need to play. And so let's play. So that's why Trey Prince is going to play. And I can tell you, Doug Peterson is making sure that he plays. That was a Doug call. That wasn't necessarily a Ryan Nielsen call. I'm not saying Ryan Nielsen didn't want him to play, but that was a Doug call. He said, we're going to play. We're going to play our young players. So I like the fact that they're doing that. I like the fact that they're starting to build the foundation for next year. You don't want to be in that position late in the year, but if you are, that's what you do. And I like the fact that they're doing that. Very excited about the college football playoff. Again, we all wish there were a few more blue bloods in it. Josh Pace seemed to think tonight's game's a close game, Indiana and Notre Dame. Yeah. And I would not be surprised either, but I think Notre Dame's going to win the game. I think Penn State with that weather will beat SMU. I think Texas-Clemson is closer than Josh thinks it is, but I think Texas wins the game. And I'll take the upset tomorrow night. I think Tennessee's going to beat Ohio State.
Yeah, we're in lockstep there. That's exactly how I think it plays out as well. So that's good news for the Hoosiers, the Mustangs, the Clemson Tigers, and the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yes, it is. It exactly is. Florida didn't make the field goal, the little chip shot. So in a high-flying offensive shootout here, 9:11 to play in the third. The Gators roar ahead 9-0 in the Gasparilla Bowl that they'll be talking about for years, I would imagine. And I do want to remind you, if you want to listen to the game as you drive, if you're driving a long way, whatever, you can hear it on our AM. That's on 1010 AM. And, of course, if you hear me right now, that means you're listening to us on our 92.5 FM. You're listening to us on the stream.
Do you buy into this will help DJ Lagway long term?
Yeah, I will say this. Every rep helps him. So, yeah, he has looked – I love his energy. I love the fact that he's poised and he's hard to sack. I love the fact that he's a very accurate deep thrower with a clean pocket and a receiver open. He doesn't miss many open guys. That's probably one of the things I like best about him is for a guy that hadn't played any more than he has, he's a very accurate thrower. But there are many, and he's a freshman, so there's supposed to be flaws. But there's flaws. He doesn't. I mean, he's thrown almost twice as many. It might be twice as many interceptions now as Graham Mertz threw as a Gator. You realize that?
Yeah.
Graham Mertz was he's 26-5.
Yeah, I think so.
I think Lagway's now at 10 interceptions. So now again, Mertz was a veteran player, but I right now there's supposed to be with a freshman player. There's a lot to learn from him. I think he's going to be good. I think people are excited about him, but I do sense that I don't think he's as close. I think he's going to be good, but I don't think he's as close as some others do. I think he's going to say yes. Give a long answer to a short question. Every rep, every mistake helps. I don't think there's any question.
And I think this next 23 minutes of football show a lot about DJ Lagway. He's got to be frustrated.
Yeah.
Are you able to harness something and score a couple touchdowns here to feel better about the performance? Or is he going to commit a couple more turnovers and maybe give this game away to Tulane?
Yeah, so. And let me defend him a little bit. Of all the things I like about what Florida has done, Billy Napier kept them playing hard. Billy Napier kept them he kept them playing hard. They never quit. They never quit on him. I think he's recruited well. He's going to do well in the portal. The whole organized. I like all that. I want to credit him for that. Stuff's very real. I still don't think they have a very good offensive plan.
No.
I still think and I don't know that he's able to develop offensive players, and I think that is a concern. Because they just got an interception. Some guy that I've never heard of just picked off a tip pass. Number 43, Allen Jr., no idea who that is. So, but on a tipped ball from Tulane.
Number 43.
Number 43 in your program. Okay.
I can't think of a better numbers guy than I am. I can't think of a lot of great 43s off the top of my head.
The 1984 team, one of my favorite game teams of all time, backup linebacker Arthur White. Okay. Backup linebacker Arthur White. A good player, too.
Yeah.
He and Leon Pennington came in after Mark Korf and Scott Armstrong came out. They rotated this. Just Korf and Armstrong were 57 and 59. White and Pennington were 43 and 45.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress.
That's great
stuff. But no, I'll say, and I'll say this: as the season comes to an end, and they're probably going to win this game 16-7 or whatever. It's that kind of game, or 13-7. It's a bad game.
Or lose 10-9.
Or lose 10-9. But when this is over, I will still say what I've said all along. I'm glad they stayed with him. I'm glad he's going to get another year. They changed coaches too much. There's much to like about what Billy Napier's done, the culture. I think he's got a good roster. I think they've got a lot of really good defensive young players coming back. I really believe that. Having said all that, they've got to figure out offense because he's not a very good offensive coach. It's not a very good offensive plan. There's no rhythm. There's no tempo. It's predictable. And, yeah, if you're way better than the other guy, the offensive line's really good. So they've been able to mash some people and their backs are good. So they've been able to mash some people with line and back, but there's nothing creative.
There's not a lot of sizzle.
And they're not developed. Even if there's not sizzle, if you can, I don't know that Mike Leach had sizzle. What he did was a marvelous coach of the passing game. He didn't have to run a lot of reverses or fancy stuff. And I don't know that Billy Napier, while running the offense, will ever be that. And you're seeing it in spades today.
Yeah.
You're seeing it today in volume, man.
Yes.
You're seeing it. You really are. So that is my concern for them. But we'll see how.
I'll tip my hat to the defense to this point.
Yeah, even
because down Cam Jackson and Caleb Banks, they have helped.
Jack Pyburn and
CRC.
Yeah,
I mean, and obviously the secondary's been beat up all year.
Yeah.
They've played obviously fantastic to have a shutout to this point. We'll see if they can keep it going. This is our guy right here, Brad.
There's Brad. Brad made this whole thing happen. We've heard us talk about Brad all week long with Karis Wealth. Brad, we appreciate you, brother. We appreciate you making this thing happen. He's the reason we're here, and he's the reason we hope to think a lot of the reason this place is so packed here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And packed here at Strings. Let me just say this before we get out of here. You got to come to Strings.
Yes.
You got. Now listen, the Adibs have been friends of mine forever. Joe Adib, who owns the Bonos, who's now retired. Joe's been in here most of the day. One of my dearest friends in the world. And his youngest brother, Scott, and his two boys own Strings, and they've done a great job. So I'm biased. Forget about the fact that they're advertisers; they're great friends. So I'm prefacing this with a bias. This is a magnificent place.
It really is.
You know how good the food is if you've been to the other Strings. The layout of this place, the brewery, Colby, one of Scott's youngest son, who brews the beer here. Look at the vibe of this place. Look how busy this place is. Look how cool this place feels.
Well, and they can handle a big crowd because there's been no panic in the staff. This place is packed.
Yeah, it is.
And everybody's gotten their food and gotten their drinks and you can tell when a place is a little bit slammed.
Yeah.
And they've done a magnificent job of handling this today.
They will. So this will just about do it for our program. Thank you for being part of it. Rick Ballou comes up tonight.
Have a great vacation.
This is getaway day for me. I am off next week. I have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
And a Merry Christmas to anyone listening. We appreciate all of you. It's been a fun year. Yeah. I'll come back. It'll be next year. I guess it'll be the end of this year, won't it? But it's been an interesting, and we'll talk about more of this when I do come back. But it's been an interesting football season, hasn't it?
It's been
nothing like
wild.
anybody expected. It has been wild. Nothing like anybody really expected it to be.
It's been a total curveball all year long.
Folks, that's our program. Rick Ballou's next, so don't go anywhere. We're out of here. I'll see you in a week or so. Hays will be back, and JJ as well with you next week. Have a Merry Christmas, everybody. Thanks for being part of our program. We're out of here. For Tom Champion, who does such a fantastic job on the road with us all the time. For JJ back in the studio, for Hays Carlyon, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.